Alright guys, hello and welcome back to another video. In this one I'll be talking about the Galaxy S7 Edge. So it's been out now for almost 6 months. I've been having it for 5.5. I've been having it ever since it was released. I actually even got it 2 days before the official release. And I did a review about this one, but that one I did after only a few weeks of use. But now I've been using this phone for, as I said, 5.5 months, and I think it's time to do a bit of a more evaluation about how it's been and what I've liked about it and what I've realized I don't like about it, and anything that you might need to know about before buying one today or in the next future. So let's start off with the design. How has this hold up? Has it been any scratches or anything at all? And what I can say is that it's been holding up very well. I have been using a case most of the time, but I did use it, I would say, a month with no case or anything at all, and it's just been holding up very nicely and no really damages at all. I think I got some scuffs here when I dropped it, but that was minor, and it was after that I realized, okay, maybe it's time to get a case. But it's just a very nice design, and maybe what I have to complain about is that it is so much glass on this one that it feels very fragile without a case on. That may be just my one point that I don't really like about it. And what I've also realized is that the little rubber sealing around the micro USB port, when you plug in the charger, it actually leaves some marks on the actual rubber sealing around the port. So as you can see here, so I'm not sure if it eventually will go down all the way through the rubber, but I'm assuming it's not. I hope they didn't make such a stupid design mess, Samsung, and I think it will hold up fine. But it's just funny that you can see how the USB cord has gone in and out and left a little mark there. But besides that, everything has been looking fine, and it just feels very premium. If it's something I would change, I would actually rather have seen a nice metal back on this phone, so it wasn't that fragile. But it's still a beautiful phone, and there is no doubt that this is one of the best looking phones right now, and might be for a lot of years. I'm not sure how to trump this nice design. So if we move on to the actual software, it's running TouchWiz, and as you know, there's a little bit of history with TouchWiz where people don't like it, or at least in the beginning it was very laggy and it just didn't work out very well. But it's a lot of years they've been improving it every year, and we're just in another time now. TouchWiz works very well. It's not perfect though, but I'm glad it's running the latest version of Android, or it's not the latest actually, since Android Nougat was released very recently, just a day ago. So that is unfortunate, but I'm pretty sure this guy will get that update in the near future. But let's talk about the TouchWiz interface and all that. And as I said before, it's known for being laggy, and have I experienced any lag? I have, but it's not laggy to an extent where it gets so annoying that I don't want to use the phone anymore. It's those occasional hiccups. And for example, one thing that I actually find very annoying is that when you update apps or download multiple apps, maybe say you have 10 in queue that's updating, I don't know why, but the whole interface slowed down incredibly noticeable, and the whole phone just gets super slow when the apps are updating in the background. And I don't see why that seems like a software miss, because the hardware in this guy should definitely be able to handle an update in the background and still be able to fly through the interface with no hiccups. But that's just something really weird, and that's annoying. But other than that, I've just maybe experienced a few crashes, nothing out of the ordinary, maybe a few animations that's lacking behind, but that's definitely not something that happens every time I use it. And just as a whole, the experience have been just very pleasing, except that update thing. And what about the camera then? I'm gonna put a few samples here so you can see that it's been performing very well, and it's been very consistent, and I haven't really had any problems with it. But one thing that I have noticed is with video. The video quality is excellent, and the stabilization is also great. It just works perfect. But what's a little bit annoying is the microphone for this guy, because I was at a festival where they had a lot of concerts playing, and I shot a few vids here on that festival, and what I realized was that the microphone didn't handle high level of noise very well. It just sounds very, very wrong when you play it later, the video. It sounds fine until the bass kicks in the song. And I'll put a sample in here so you can see what I'm talking about, so you can have a listen for yourself. So as you saw there, you have problems when those bass beats comes in and you hear that it just doesn't sound good at all. And that I'm actually expecting that a $700-800 phone should be able to handle without any problem. So that's too bad, and I think they could have gone with a little bit more of a high quality microphone. But with decent noise levels, the microphone is actually very good, and it's actually better than many microphones. But I've seen phones that can manage those high levels of noise, as for example when you're on a concert and loud music is playing. And for example the iPhone 6s handles that much better, so that's a little bit of a disappointment, but I can still live with that since I'm not at concerts all the time. Another feature that I've been liking a lot with the Galaxy S7 Edge is it's always on display. I've had it on basically every time since I got the phone. It's been on for basically 5.5 months now, and it's pretty cool that I can technically say that at least a part of my screen has basically been on for 6 months straight. Except that it's not the whole screen that's on, because this is an AMOLED display, which means that it's only the pixels that you see on the display that's actually the only little part of the screen that's actually on. And this is great because it makes it doesn't decrease the battery life almost anything at all. I still get decent battery life. I usually get around 3.5 to 4 hours of screen on time, and that's when I have all the features on. I have GPS on, I have location on, I have a lot of apps in the background updating all the time. So that's also fine, and I'm sure you will be able to get 5 hours of screen on time if you optimize it a little bit better, but I'm just throwing things at this phone all the time, so I'm really happy about the battery life as well. But back to the actual always on display, it's great that you can see the clock at a glance. I use this during night too. I put my phone in airplane mode and then I just use it as a clock so I can see it all the time. But what I'm annoyed with is that the always on display doesn't show notifications from third-party apps. They only show notifications from the Samsung apps, which is a bummer because maybe you don't want to use Samsung's messaging app, which I don't do because I don't like it and I don't think it's designed very well. But so I can't see notifications on the always on display if I get a text message, because I'm not using the Samsung messaging app, and that's really annoying. And I hope they can fix that, because what they did with the Note 7 here that they released recently, they actually added support for third-party apps, which I'm sure they will add. I'm pretty confident to say that they will add this in the next update for the Galaxy S7 or the Edge and the 7. The more major one, not maybe a security update, but maybe when they update to Android 7. I'm pretty sure I'll get that feature, but it should have been on from the beginning, and that's annoying. And another thing that I'm not a big fan of, but I still use, that's the fingerprint reader. So it's not very good. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. It's decent, because the problem is that it doesn't recognize my fingerprints every time. Sometimes it just does it right away, but it's really sensitive to dirt and stuff. If you just have a little bit of liquid or a little bit too much grease on your fingers, it's not going to work. It's just going to say wipe your home button and try again, which is also annoying. And for example, the iPhone have a lot better of a fingerprint scanner, and even the Nexus phone, the Nexus 6P, and just a lot of phones that has better fingerprint readers and they're actually a lot cheaper as well. So not very happy about the fingerprint scanner, even though I use it. And a feature that's actually I really like that's connected with the fingerprint scanner is that you can, if you use the Samsung stock browser, which I do, you can actually use the fingerprint scanner to log into your pages. If you log into one page one time, it's going to ask you if you want to save the password and the username, and then you can click that, and every time you log in, you will be able to log in with your fingerprint and you don't have to type it again, which is really a nice level of security and convenience. So that is really, really great as well. This is still a very good phone, and well, Samsung recently released the Note 7 and they're actually pretty similar, or the specs are basically exactly the same except the screens and that you have the S Pen on the Note series. So would I recommend this when the Note 7 is out? Honestly, I would actually go with the Note 7 unless you think that 5.5 inches is the perfect screen size. I mean 5.7, which the Note has, the Note 7, that's not a huge difference, and I would actually go for that because you will get the S Pen and that will just give you more usability of the phone. But still, if you can pick up this for a better deal, maybe you get a couple $100 off. I mean, they're probably it's gonna drop in price soon, then I would definitely recommend it. But if you're gonna buy it for its original $700-800 price, then I would rather go with the Note, really, because you'll just get a little bit more perfected phone and with just a little bit larger screen and that S Pen, which has a lot of functionality. But that's gonna sum this video up. I hope you guys liked it and you get a little bit more insight of how I've been experiencing this phone for the past months. And as always, stay tuned for more videos. I try to upload at least one every week. And without further ado, I'm gonna end this video and hope you liked it, and stay subscribed, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.